This is the Transform with Travel podcast. I'm Kelly Tolliday, your host, and I'm so happy you're here with me today. After having traveled to 45 countries and living across 4 different continents, it's my mission to inspire you to live life to its fullest, travel with an open mind and heart, and let the world show you a new perspective. Here at the pod, we believe that travel has the power to transform your life. So we bring on everyday adventurers to share their stories, as well as industry experts to help you optimize and enhance your travels, transforming us from tourists to travelers with each and every episode. So buckle up, because we are about to take off. All right, here we go. Welcome to the Transform with Travel podcast. I'm your host, Kelly Tolliday. I'm the co-founder of R&R, Wellness Travel and Retreats. I am so grateful to each and every one of you who listen and support this show. I'd love if you could please click subscribe so you don't miss any of our latest episodes with amazing guests like ours today. So I'm sitting here at my podcast studio, Child and Company, a hybrid co-working and childcare facility in Boca Raton, Florida, with a state-of-the-art podcast recording studio. And I'm just super grateful to the owners, Adrian and Joe, who sponsored the podcast and allow us to record here today. So thanks, guys. And now I'm even more excited to welcome today's guest, Lisa Gneo. As a luxury travel concierge, Lisa's mission at Rockstar Luxury Travel is to redefine the way individuals experience travel. She aims to provide unrivaled travel concierge services that are tailored to the unique preferences and desires of each of her clients. With over 20 years of experience in the hospitality industry, she has forged partnerships with the finest travel experts who are dedicated to planning your ideal trip. Her ultimate goal is to transform tourists into travelers. Currently residing in Boca Raton, Florida, she likes to work out, explore museums and art galleries, attend live music events, and spend quality time with friends. And she also loves animals. And so I love when your interests and hobbies reflect your values and the person that you are. Museums, art, music, animals, I think it shows so much of the person who loves to explore and appreciate culture and art and all those things. So just welcome, welcome, welcome. I'm happy to have you here.
Thank you so much. I'm excited about being here.
Yeah, it's going to be a great conversation. And so today's episode is going to highlight the life of a travel advisor, travel concierge, which is an exploding industry right now, something we're definitely going to get into. And there's no better person to share on this topic than you. So I'd love for you to start with just your journey in breaking into the travel industry and working in hospitality for 20 years. That's such a breadth of a career to have be spanning 20 years. So I'm excited to hear about that.
Yeah, I started in the hotel business back in 1995. Got a taste of the hospitality industry, and I absolutely loved it. So through that business, I got to travel quite a bit, see different places domestically and internationally. And then when I started traveling internationally is when I really fell in love with travel again, because I love to explore. It's like you said before, it's like museums and culture and music and just learning something new about where I am and what I'm doing. And then it just kind of evolved through the years to a point where I started a company with a partner, and it was a luxury travel company, but we focused more on the hotel and some of the experience. So the hotel was when we vetted them. So we'd go and visit all these properties, make sure that they were up to the standards of our model of what we wanted on our platform. And every one we had to look at. So whether it was Italy, Paris, France, Spain, Greece, we looked at all of them. So, and I had a team of other individuals that I would oversee seeing all these different properties. So it was a really wonderful experience. So I got to go to Italy quite a bit and see a lot of things there. And again, that's where it all kind of started.
That's, amazing. And so did you have any like mentors or teachers or people that helped you kind of pave the path for you? Or were you really like the pioneer trailblazing this type of career for yourself?
Oh God, I wish I was, but I'm not. There's always somebody
of course
there to help you, guide you, and lift you up and help you to understand and where your full potentials are, right? We all need a mentor. And I did have one, and I still do, that helps me along the way to really discover my passion and help me to understand it. So he's guided me through my career, through the hotel industry, through being on the other side of the industry. So as a travel person and then as a sales and marketing person for a hotel. It's two different aspects and two spectrums of the business, completely different.
Yeah. And so in your experience of having been on the ground to so many hotels in all of these countries and having so much on the ground experience, in your opinion, what services, amenities, features, like what stands out to you in a hotel where you're like, yes, I will put you on my roster of hotels that I recommend to my clients?
Well, a lot of it came down to the service that was provided. You know, everybody can have a gym and a pool and great shampoo in the room, but it really comes down to how am I treated when I get to that property? How do they make me feel? And that was really important to us. And the property also had to be unique. So we went after small boutique hotels. We didn't deal with hundreds of hotels. We always narrowed it down to a certain number in each city. And if it was only 10 in Rome, it was 10 in Rome. But it might have been 15 in Spain. But they had to be very specific and very unique to what we were looking for. Because we were thinking about the guest.
Yeah.
You know, how does our guest feel when they get there? What is there for them to have? You know, we want them to feel special at all times.
Yeah, and also have that, like you said, the word unique, that unique experience of, like I think of, God, I was only 12, but I remember we got rerouted on a cruise we were supposed to go on. We were supposed to, I think, start in Fort Lauderdale, but there was a storm, so we had to fly to Puerto Rico. Something weird happened, but we ended up at this hotel called The Convent in San Jose. And I still remember to this day from 12 years old, like, it's an old convent that got turned into a boutique hotel.
Right.
And I just still remember to this day, like the beautiful chandeliers and the candles. And it was just such a unique experience that is something that I would take away over staying at XYZ box chain hotel. Right. And so having worked in the industry for 20 years, can you go over a little bit of your process of starting on the hotel side and working, you know, I think you said sales and marketing, and then really going out on your own and now having your own travel concierge?
Right. Well, when I did the sales and marketing, as I said, I got an opportunity to always travel overseas. And when I would go there and stay at the hotels, I would just love the way they made me feel upon arrival. They made me feel like I was coming home. So I thought that was really special and unique. And then I was always selling to European clients for them to come back to the United States. So I just had to market my property to them and get them excited about where we were and what we were doing. So I was working for this great hotel property, and unfortunately they were sold. So instead of going on to finding another job in a hotel, because I had experienced so much from all my travels, I wanted to share that experience with others. So my partner, we opened up a travel company that I was telling you catered to more the hotel side and finding those really unique properties and making sure our guests found the right thing and were properly vetted.
I don't know about you, but something I've always grappled with as a traveler is how to dress comfortably for travel, but also look stylish, preferably without checking a bag. As I've grown older, I want my travel outfits to match my lifestyle. And even though I may have matured from my backpacking days, comfort is still a priority for me, especially on long travel days. I was stoked to be introduced to the brand Anatomy, who specialize in functional luxury travel clothing. I fell in love with their passion for sustainability, high-quality fabrics, and how fashion can transform and elevate your adventures. It actually simplifies your life and takes the stress out of packing and dressing. I recently took an 8-hour flight to Portugal in one of their shirts and pants and was super comfortable, stylish, and wrinkle-free the whole way through. My favorite thing about Anatomy is that they hand-select fabrics that are wrinkle-resistant, easy to maintain, and do not take up too much luggage space. I can pack an entire weekend's worth of Anatomy outfits in one of their signature packing cubes, eliminating my need to check a bag, which we all know is a huge flex as a traveler. You can hand wash and hang dry, so the clothing doesn't need dry cleaning or ironing services, saving time and money on the road. My favorite Anatomy item is their Suzette skirt, the cutest form-fitting athletic skirt with shorts underneath and pockets. What's not to love? Head over to anatomy.com, that's ANATOMIE.com, and use the code RISING20 for 20% off your next order. Transform your travel style to the next level with Anatomy. how it was for you to move from the hotel side where it was more of that sales and marketing. You're really trying to get those European clients over to the US to your hotel, to then shifting into creating your own company with your partner and moving into kind of that entrepreneurial side of travel.
Well, in 2007, with my partner, we started Rockstar Hotels. That was focusing on finding really unique boutique properties throughout Europe and catering to our U.S. customers going overseas, because we felt a need between all the other websites that you were just bombarded with all these different properties. And how did you know which one to go to? Because if you look at a picture, all the hotels on the site look beautiful. But then when you get there, it always wasn't what you would see, right? So that was always a problem. It even happened to me if I book through a website and I go, oh, it looks so beautiful. And then I arrive and I go, this is nothing what I thought it was going to be. So we felt that that was a challenge. So what we did was we formed this company to get over to Europe, go and vet these properties, look at all of them, as many as we can, and say, no, these fit the criteria, or what I see is what I get. They're just not beautiful pictures. They're actually a beautiful hotel. And they fit all the criteria of, yes, of course, the amenities and the beauty and uniqueness. But it was like, what else did they bring? They brought this wonderful, warm feeling. And that's how I think about, properties over in Europe. It's like, it's a passion. It's a love for what they do. It's not just a job or a career. It's their life. It's their livelihood. Most of the hotels were run by families, not by big corporation. There's a big difference there in the way people make you feel. They're very proud in all those different areas that, all the different hotels that we did see.
Yeah, I really loved what you said earlier, where it felt like coming home. It's like you can be in a completely foreign city and you walk over the threshold of the hotel doors and you feel like you're coming home because of the warmth of the person at the front desk. Or I remember we were in Thailand recently, and the housekeeping at the hotel that we were at every day would just leave like a little gift for Layla, like a little sand bucket or a little hat or something like that. And it was like something that she didn't have to do. It wasn't part of her job description. There was no like mandatory leave a tip for the housekeeping type of thing. You know what I mean? Like she genuinely went out of her way, just because that is like Thai culture, is they love kids and they welcome kids, and that was reflected back from the hotel. So it's something that we'll always remember.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, I love that when you come back from a day of, wandering the city and they know your name. You're just not a regular guest. They know everybody. So it's like, hi, Lisa, hi, this one, hi, that. And then you can go get a drink at the bar and they know what you like to drink. It's just more special. Yeah. And it's just a great feeling to have. Like you're home. Again, you're hanging out with friends.
Exactly. And that's what's really important to us when we run retreats, is booking them in locations and venues where they do give you that feeling. The hotel that we work with in Greece, the bartender, everyone loved him. Shout out to Sergios. Like he would walk in and be like, Miri, here's your mocktail that you like. And Kelly, this is blah, blah, blah. Like he just remembered everyone's drinks. He remembered who wasn't drinking for health reasons and who wanted a double mojito and who, like, it was just like little things like that where you just walk in and you could just sit down and have a chat with Sergios because he's your old friend who you met 3 days ago.
And how does that make you feel?
It made me feel welcomed and part of the culture. It made me feel like I have a relationship with someone now. I could go back to that island and go to the beach and I would have a friend,
Exactly.
And it's so vital. It's something I've never really considered, and I appreciate you bringing that up. And so you started Rockstar Hotels. When did it shift over into Rockstar Luxury Travel?
That kind of started after COVID. COVID really slowed things down and, changed the way people did business, the way we traveled, the way we did anything. I mean, we were locked down basically for 2 years. So it's taken a while for travel to come back, and it's finally really back, which is thank goodness, right?
Yeah.
I just thought, like, what will I do now? Where's my passion? Where's my love? And it's always been travel, always sharing stories with people. And people would ask me, where did you get that? Or I have a question about travel or this or that. And I go, well, I think I need to make this my job and not just a referral service.
You're like, I want to pick your brain. And you're like, that'll be $100, please.
Yeah, basically.
Like, my time is valuable.
It's like, where did you buy that dress? Where did you get that? And, what hotel do I go to? What restaurant? And I'm going, okay, I need to make this a business because everybody's always asking me. Plus, I love sharing my stories of all my trips that I've taken. And I've done it for over 20 years. So there's a lot that I have to share. So that being said, my love of the concierge service, where I wanted to help people design their trip in order to create memories. It wasn't just going from A to B It was really the whole journey. Like they say, it's not the destination, it's the journey and how you get there and how you do things. And what do you do when you get there? You want to see everything. You want to explore on a local level. Or basically, what is it that the client is really looking for? I give them everything they want on their list. And I help guide them along the way to say, well, while you're here, think about this, or why don't you do this? Because they would never think of that. So that's where I'm here to help them open up their mind a lot more.
Yeah. And I really loved when you said make the memories.
Yeah.
Because oftentimes, especially when you're just an individual person who doesn't maybe not have that much experience in planning their own trip, it can be overwhelming, like planning the logistics of getting there, which hotel, what restaurants do I want, what excursions should I use? Like it almost feels stressful. And then you get there and you forget to have fun. Like
Right.
you forget that you're so on it trying to like get to all the places. So there's such a benefit in working with someone like yourself who has such, vast experience in being able to make a trip that is memorable and not just, an experience you can tick off on the bucket list. Like how do you make unique memories for someone? So I think that's really special. And so with your name, Rockstar Luxury Travel, what does it mean to you to travel like a rock star? Like what does that look like?
Well, traveling like a rock star and how I look at it is like, you want the best hotel, the best tours, the best restaurants, the best place to go shopping, right? But it doesn't mean you have to buy the Hope Diamond in order to do it. There's so many levels of traveling like a rock star. That means it's special and unique to you and what you want. So sure, it can be $50,000. It can be $5,000. It's just doing it right and feeling good. And like it always comes back to creating memories and doing something different and outside the box.
Yeah, I like that because you think about a rock star and they have like a unique quality to them. Like you can think of specific rock stars or pop stars or whatever, and it's like, yeah, they have this X factor and they have that X factor. And like you said, it actually doesn't matter about how much money you spend. It's about how do we make this unique to you.
Right.
And I think that's a really powerful intention for people to set before they go on a trip. Like, how can I make this unique for myself? What does this look like? Because oftentimes we can get really wrapped up in, well, so-and-so influencer did this, so I'm going to go because it's this new famous gelato place with this Instagram wall. And I know something we wanted to talk about was like Instagram versus reality, or what that's like when you get an influencer telling you basically how to plan your itinerary without having the on-the-ground knowledge or the 20-plus years in the industry. So with the world of remote working and travel advising and influencers and all these different trips that people plan, what would be something that you look for in a travel advisor? If someone were wanting to work with a travel advisor, how would I as a consumer know that I'm getting the most out of my service? Like what would you want to be looking for in a travel advisor?
Well, I want to find somebody like me.
Yeah.
Somebody who's walked the walk. I've been there. I've been to the hotel. I've been to the restaurant. I've been on those tours. And I work with, very qualified travel advisor in Europe. So whether, again, it's Spain or France or Italy, Greece, I work with companies there that work with me in order to give the proper itinerary for a guest. And I want to know what is the best thing to do, what's the latest thing to do, what are the hidden gems, and who's going to know that better than a travel advisor on the ground that I have partnered with. So it's not just me going online. It's not even me going online because that's not what I do. I don't look at TripAdvisor reviews or anything like that because I don't believe in them. I believe that I need to partner with people that do exactly what they say. They walk that walk. I'm a trusted resource. I'm that one-stop shop that, again, I'm going to provide a service for you that's going to help you design the itinerary that you've been dreaming about. And again, I keep going back to that statement. We're here to create memories. Mm-hmm. That's our biggest thing. We want you to come back and talk about your trip and, tell all your friends about it and have them and be inspired and say, I'm ready to go on this trip. I want to do something really different, unique.
Yeah, it's so incredible having that local knowledge.
Yes.
And also knowing okay, I might not be the expert in so-and-so region of Spain. Let me tap on my friend's shoulder and talk to them about it because things, like you said, after COVID, things have changed. Things upgrade and everything changes over time. So I think
absolutely.
That's so good to know this used to be a really good tour, but now this is somewhere that maybe you want to pivot and go somewhere else.
Or they changed a vendor because they weren't up to the standards.
Right.
And they're going to work with somebody else because you have to have those standards in place at all times.
Yeah.
to make sure, because this is your reputation on the line, and you don't want to lose people over something so silly.
And even something like, I remember we wanted to do a guided historical walk on our Greece retreat. And we were like, okay, we'll start at like 10. People can do yoga in the morning. We'll go to breakfast and then we'll start the walk. And our local manager on the ground was like, oh, no. You want to start the walk at 7:30. Otherwise, you will be melting by the time you get to the top. And I was like, thank you. And now none of our retreat guests are melting or, standing in the shade huddling. It's not a positive, memorable experience. It might be a memorable experience because you're like, I never want to do that again. But that's the power of working with someone as experienced as you.
Right. And I'll also say to the client, listen, you can either go in the winter when it's 30 degrees, or you can go in the summer when it's 90 degrees, or you can find a place in between. And I always like the place in between. But I do also love to go to Europe in the wintertime. And I think you probably know, because of peak season, everyone is traveling, everyone is there, and you really don't get to see the city or the countryside the way you want to see it. So seeing it off peak is also something that I recommend to my clients as well. No, don't go during the summer when everybody's on vacation. Go in September, October. The weather's still really beautiful. You can get to the beach, but it's not going to be crowded.
Yeah,
so.
And more reasonably priced, too.
Oh, absolutely,
so you can travel even more like a rock star.
Right, yeah, exactly.
Your dollar goes farther.
Right.
G'day, mates from the land down under. Just kidding. I'm right here in South Florida, enjoying a true blue Aussie coffee, pastry, and meat pie at my absolute favorite cafe here in South Florida, Bite and Coffee. That's BYTE and Coffee, located in Lighthouse Point. Bite and Coffee is owned and managed by the absolute best couple from down under, Dan and Kat, who moved to South Florida from Melbourne, Australia, with the dream of bringing the incredible Aussie cafe culture to the States. As someone who's lived in Australia for 5 years, I surely do miss my Aussie flat white coffee, brekkie buns, and sausage rolls. But what I miss more is the sense of community when you step inside your favorite cafe. You know that feeling when you walk in and they already know your order and it's ready to go? Yeah, that kind of feeling. Bite and Coffee brings the good vibes, delicious food and coffee, and the true sense of family. I can bring my little girls for breakfast and know that they are welcomed. If you're living in South Florida or just visiting and passing by, I highly recommend heading over to Bite and Coffee and grabbing a coffee with your breakfast or lunch, or even checking out their incredible wine and beer selection with a delicious charcuterie board at night. It's the perfect spot for a catch-up with a friend or a business meeting. As a special gift to listeners, when you order at Bite, be sure to mention Transform with Travel for 10% off your order. So go ahead and check it out. Bite and Coffee, located in Lighthouse Point. As I mentioned, the travel advising industry is exploding quite a bit with the world of remote working, with people now travel really kicking up even more and really hitting like a fever pitch right now in terms of all the statistics of travel to Europe and all that. I think Allianz did a study that it was up like 70% last year from European travel. There's a lot of talk about, just become a travel advisor. And you can make, 6 figures a month and blah, 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 work from home, work in your PJs. And so someone who has really done the work, you have done the leg work, you walked the walk, all the things. What would you say to someone who is considering or wanting to be a travel advisor? Any pieces of advice that you can give them so it's not just some trend or they don't fall into some trap of giving a company some money just to become a travel advisor? Like, what does that process look like for you?
Right. I see that all the time. It's always advertised on Instagram, like become an advisor and show people how to travel, and then they're going to give you their itineraries of what they recommend. But that's not going to be unique to the client and customer that's calling you. Where, again, when you're calling me, I've walked the walk and I'm working with local individuals to put this itinerary together and giving you that advice to help you to avoid certain pitfalls and situations. And don't go eat on this street, walk 2 blocks north, make a right, make a left, and this is the local restaurant that you want to go to. The other ones are too touristy. It's overpriced and you're going to not have the good food or whatever it is. That's what we're here to advise you. Because, again, I've done it, they've done it, they live there, they know. It's just like living in South Florida. People are going to call you and ask you, well, where do I go to eat? I heard that this restaurant's great. And you're like, oh, my God, no.
Yeah.
Do not go to that restaurant. But you're a local, So that's what's more important. You just can't sit at your desk and just think that you're going to put this itinerary together for somebody. To me, it just doesn't work. It just doesn't make sense. Because is that person just Googling stuff?
I remember I had a friend who reached out to me and said, hey, I've never been to Europe. I really want to go and bring my family. Can you help me? Because I'm also a travel advisor. And I said, yeah, sure. Where do you want to go? And she said, Paris and Rome. And I said, well, I could definitely do some good Googling, but I've never been to Paris and I've spent about 10 minutes in Rome. So I'm going to refer you to someone who I know specializes in this. This was maybe like 6 months ago. And she was like, wow, that was really honest. And I was like, yeah, because I want you to have the absolute best vacation possible. If this is a once in a lifetime trip for you, I want that to be once in a lifetime. And so I'm doing you a disservice to the entire travel industry if you go and have a crap time because of what I did. Right. I want you to keep on traveling. That's my ultimate goal with anyone, like you said. So would you say if someone wanted to become a travel advisor, like genuinely interested, wants to become a travel advisor, like it sounds like to me the common theme is get out there and do the work for yourself. Like go visit to the places like you said, you really specialize in that like European travel. I know we've talked backstage before about how you also specialize in like South African safari and like all these amazing trips, but there might be some places, and we mentioned how I could do a Thailand itinerary with my eyes closed, and you're like, well, I actually don't have any local on the ground knowledge of that area, so I don't necessarily do that. And so I think that's really cool, like to be able to know where your strengths are. Where are you passionate about? What country do you absolutely love? Maybe just start with one country. Like what would you say to that person?
I would definitely say start with one country. Go where your passion is and the place that you love the most. And, listen, I spent 3 months at a time running throughout Europe. So that was great. And I got to learn a lot.
Yeah.
And a lot of my time was spent in Italy. So I would just get in the car and on the weekends just drive everywhere and just get lost. And I would discover new neighborhoods, new areas, new things, and new people and different food. So, yeah, just if you can, get on a plane and just go.
Yeah.
Take your laptop, go, and learn everything you can about that city and that country that you're in. You can even do it here.
I was going to say, you don't have to go very far.
No, you don't. You can do it in this country, too. If you love, Denver, go to Denver and become a specialist in everything that's Denver's all about and get out there and walk.
Yeah.
Do not get in a cab. Do not drive. Just get out and walk. And that's the only way you're going to find things, discover things, and really see things.
And that's even great, not just for someone who wants to be a travel advisor. That's great advice for just a traveler in general. Like get out and walk. Be face to face with the street. Don't hide behind the window of the car. Of course, if it's a far drive, you got to do it.
Right. But stop your car, get out, walk around, find restaurants, find different things.
Smell the smells.
And just explore.
Yeah.
I mean, I do that here sometimes, know, because I go for walks like almost every day. And I took the car and I drove up between Del Rey and Boca, and I stopped, and I go, let me start here just for different sceneries. And as I was walking around, I couldn't believe what I was seeing, because I drove that road 100,000 times, and I never saw it in the way I saw it that day when I was walking. I go, oh my God, look at this house, look at that house. I didn't know this was here. I didn't know this coffee shop was here, because you're just driving.
I love that so much. And I think that really leads into the next question around something that you say a lot is you love to transform tourists into travelers. And so what does that saying mean to you? What does that mean?
Okay, I have a great story. So we went to Puerto Rico with another couple of ours, and we decided that one day we were going to rent a Jeep and kind of hit the road and just explore San Juan or Puerto Rico. And they decided, no, we're going to hang out by the pool, and we're just going to sit here, and it's nice. I said, all right, let's get a map, because that's when maps were available. We didn't have Google Maps at the time. So grab a map, get in the Jeep, and we start heading out. And it was a beautiful drive, because you're just going along the countryside. We were taking turns here and there. We ended up going through the rainforest. Then we ended up taking a turn. We crossed a bridge with a beautiful rainbow. We got to catch a beautiful rainbow, and I have a picture of that, which I love. Then we were driving, trying to figure out a place to eat. And as we were driving, I went to turn over the map, and it flew out the window. I was just like, what are we going to do now? Now we just have to, wing it and figure out where we're going to go. So we kept driving, trying to find a place to eat, and we found a place that said, American Express welcomed. Now, it looked like this little shanty little building. And we're like, okay, let's go. We're hungry. We go in, and it's the backyard to a family, and they had picnic tables out.
Oh, my gosh.
So we sit down, and we go there, and we're like, okay. The mother and daughter come out and say, okay, what would you like to drink? We have beer, water, or soda. Okay, beer. Then she goes, okay, we have these 2 fishes today. That was it. Because that's what the husband and the son had caught that morning. That was it. And you could have it grilled or fried. And it was the most amazing experience I ever had. And we sat there and talked for 2 hours with the family and got to learn about them. And then that was done. We decided to take our trip back. And it was, again, really beautiful just seeing the countryside. Got back to the hotel and we said to our friends, well, what did you do today? And they were like, oh, we were by the pool and had a really beautiful lunch. They're like, what did you do? And I just thought, wow, we had a most amazing experience, an amazing memory. And that's where I feel like the tourist and the traveler, where it's like the tourist to me was the one that sat by the pool, yes, enjoyed the sun and had lunch at the hotel. The traveler is the one that went out and explored and learned something new and met amazing people and came back with amazing memories. They had a great tan.
Yeah, right. They're like, they looked really relaxed.
They look good. Well, we look good too because we had a Jeep, so the top was open. So there you go. But
it's just like that is literally like the exact description. That's in my head. Like that's what that is. And I always find it's hard sometimes when you do travel with someone who is more inclined to kind of just relax by the pool and not do a whole lot, which I think may just be, maybe that's my medicine is like, I just need to relax a little bit more.
Of course, sometimes you do need that.
Exactly.
Yes.
And having that balanced itinerary for sure. But I think a traveler has a mindset of getting in it, not just taking the picture, not just, seeing all the things and ticking off, like getting amongst the culture and being okay with this might not be the way that I would do it at home, or this might not be the thing that I would normally eat, or let's turn around because the map just flew out and we don't know where we're going to go. Like that's literally a traveler mindset, is just continuing to follow the road until
figure it out.
You figure it out.
Yeah.
And so that's, I think, a really powerful point with working with someone like yourself is being able to guide someone on that journey of transforming from a tourist to a traveler. Because that can be really scary for some people.
Sure, it can.
Is taking those risks and knowing that you have someone in your support system, like Lisa on your shoulder, just tapping you, like, okay, I got you.
Right? Yeah, like don't worry about it. But at the same time, when I do the itinerary for my clients, yes, I can fill it up to whatever they want, but I do give them days off to relax and enjoy and kind of reboot and enjoy the moment that they experienced maybe the day before.
Yeah.
So
yeah, and it goes back to that balanced itinerary.
Always a balanced itinerary.
It's almost like coaching. You're like coaching people on how to build memories abroad. That's awesome.
Yeah.
And the last question that I have is really like, what do you see in the next year, maybe 2024 into 2025? What do you see kind of being the hot destinations, or more, maybe not hot destinations as in the most popular, but more like destinations that people might not have really realized? Like I remember a couple years ago, maybe in 2017, 2018, Sri Lanka was starting to be the bubbling up, the country that was kind of rising up in the ranks. And then we went in 2018 and I was like, this is my favorite country in the whole world. But it was still, and it still is kind of fringe off the beaten path, but it's getting more popular. Do you see any destinations like that are kind of like rising up slowly up the ranks that you really love?
Well, I mean, for 24, I'm just getting a lot of requests for Portugal.
Oh, we're going there in June.
Yes, I know. That's why it's like you've got the hot place. Portugal's like on fire, I think. But I just think for me, something like Turkey would be an amazing place to explore the culture. And it's just so different. I haven't been there yet, so that's kind of like on my bucket list.
Your own bucket list,
yeah. Yeah, it's what I want to see and just do. Because I think it's so beautiful. And the food is just so completely different than what I'm used to. And it's great. And the spices and the colors, I think, of Turkey. So
yeah. I also feel like a place like Turkey, again, I haven't been either, but I've been places kind of with a similar pace. And I feel like Turkey's one of those countries that it's not the same as India, but it kind of that same feeling that I get is that feeling of like you have to be present. Like there's so much happening at any given time that like you have to be there.
Yes.
Like in that moment, taking it all in, because if you don't, like, poof, like it's all over the place. So I feel like it's one of those countries that it will really bring you back into what's happening here and now.
Right. Yes.
Yeah.
100%.
And so did you have anything else you wanted to share with us but before we wrap everything up?
Yes, absolutely. Get out and travel. I think that's the most important thing. And I think we've talked about this before too. It's like, don't wait. Do it now. Because time is so precious and we don't know what our future holds. So if you have an opportunity to go, just go. And try to make it happen. Even if it's a small trip, just do it anyway. Go to a place that you've been dreaming about. It's so easy today. in order to do it.
Yeah.
And you don't have to stay at the most expensive hotel. Again, traveling like a rock star is about experiences and coming back with memories. It's not just about staying in that 5-star hotel. I mean, you can have a great experience in a 4-star hotel. So just travel, please.
Get out there. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that's how the world continues to open up and continues to open, like even a younger generation, just like compassion for other cultures and just having more open-mindedness and just encouraging people to get out there is so important.
I'm glad you said that because I think if more of us travel and saw the world, I think we would definitely understand each other more and have a more respect for one another because we're all so different, but yet we're all so much alike. We all want the same things from life. We want our families to be happy and healthy and our friends, and we want to do the best we can for our life and live all these amazing dreams that we have for ourselves. We're all the same, but we do it differently. That's the only thing.
Yeah, I love that. That's a great place to end. So we finish our episodes with these little questions to just get to know you a little bit more. Okay. And so number 1 is, what country or place has left the biggest impact on you?
Italy.
Oh, yeah. And why?
Oh, gosh, 1,000 reasons. I mean, I'm Italian for one. I still have family there. I'm just so happy when I'm there. The food is amazing. I love the fashion. I've made some great friends there. So, yeah.
Feels like home?
It does. It's home without a doubt.
Yeah. So then number 2 is, what is your go-to must-have travel accessory or item?
That's a good one. Oh my gosh.
Stumped you.
Yeah, you did. I mean, geez, there's so many when I travel. Well, one I think is definitely a good pair of shoes.
Oh, yeah.
Every country, every city is like so different and you got to be prepared for that. So you definitely want comfortable shoes, but stylish. Don't be a tourist.
Yeah. And then you can, if you have comfortable shoes, you can walk and get amongst the city.
Yeah,
like we talked about,
exactly. You want comfortable but yet stylish shoes for sure.
That's perfect. And then the last one is, what's the biggest life lesson that you've learned while traveling?
The understanding and beauty of learning about different cultures and acceptance has been my lifelong lesson for sure. It's been my best teacher in life. That's the only way I can think. Travel has been the greatest classroom I've ever been in.
That's so powerful. We always say in this podcast that travel is the ultimate catalyst for personal growth. And I think
1,000%.
if you're open to it and you're willing to take some of the hard times and the mistakes and the mishaps that happen while you travel sometimes, and you're able to open your mind up to what it could be teaching you and what other cultures can teach you, that you just become more and more a well-rounded human being.
Right.
We need more of those.
Well, yeah. And I mean, again, that's where, working with me and working with locals on the ground, that you're not alone. So if you're there and you need something, and of course I'm going to be, X amount of hours away and maybe not reachable because it's 3:00 in the morning in the U.S., you have somebody there to assist you. And that's what's so important for me, to work with these great partners so nothing gets missed. You have an issue, you need something, you have a person to call. You're not left alone.
Yeah.
So that I wanted to make clear too, because I
sure.
think that's important also.
Yeah, having that support behind you, knowing that, if there's a delay or if something happens, that you have Lisa there to help you.
Yeah.
So if people are like, I want to work with Lisa, she needs to craft my next experience, what's the best way for people to reach out to you?
Well, they can go on my website, which is rockstarluxtravel.com. There's a link in there to contact me and make an appointment. I do a 30-minute consultation.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, to learn about you, learn about what you want to do and your goals for your trip. And I help craft that for you.
That's awesome.
Once we decide we're the right match for each other. Because sometimes I can feel like the client might not be right for me. This is not the service that I can give them.
Right.
It's just not a right fit. But yeah. And from there, you can email me as well at lisa@rockstarluxtravel.com.
That's awesome. Well, thank you so much for joining today.
Thank you.
I'm so excited for our listeners to learn more about you, learn about what travel advising is, how it could be beneficial for them in their future travels, and be inspired to transform from tourists to travelers. So thank you.
Wonderful. Thank you so much.
Thanks for tuning in to another episode of the Transform with Travel podcast. Don't forget to hit subscribe so you never miss an episode of inspiration, adventure, and exploration. If you felt inspired by this episode, please rate and review in whatever streaming app you're listening from. This allows us to spread the word even more and continue to serve up weekly doses of adventure. As always, we'd love if you could share the episode with someone in your life who you think will benefit from this conversation. Thanks so much for listening. This is your reminder to get out there and keep on exploring.